Number 1. Best meal to clean out your arteries. If you're over 60 and have ever been told by your doctor to eat less meat, choose whole grains, and avoid saturated fat to protect your heart, I'm sorry, but today I have to tell you the truth. You may have been misled your entire life. Not because someone was trying to harm you, but because science once got it wrong and we've been paying the price ever since. Every day, millions of Americans follow the heart-healthy diet guidelines. So why is heart disease still the #1 cause of death? The answer isn't in cholesterol or fat. It's deeper, hidden inside your blood vessels in a place most doctors never mention. And what's more, the single best meal for clearing your arteries, the only one I call nature's miracle medicine, is actually a food you were once told to avoid. Why is that? And why is it so effective that it's transformed the lives of thousands of older adults? 1. The endothelium, the true heart of your arteries. If I asked you which part of your body keeps your blood vessels flowing smoothly every single day, you'd probably think of your heart, or maybe cholesterol. But the truth lies somewhere else, in a far more silent place, a thin, paper-like layer that lines the inside of every blood vessel. It's called the endothelium, and you might be surprised to learn this is the real deciding factor in whether your arteries stay clear or become dangerously blocked. So why does almost no one talk about it? The endothelium isn't just a lining as most people imagine. It's a living organ that regulates blood pressure, controls clotting, fights inflammation, and, most importantly, determines whether blood flows freely or gets stopped in its tracks. In other words, it's the gatekeeper of your entire circulatory system. A healthy body can repair small injuries in blood vessels on its own, but if the endothelium gets damaged, everything changes very quickly. And what damages it? Not fat, not red meat, but chronically high blood sugar and constant spikes in insulin. You see, the endothelium uses glucose for energy, but to keep glucose where it belongs, it needs insulin. The problem is, when you eat a lot of carbohydrates, grains, bread, snacks, your body has to release insulin over and over again. Over time, the endothelium loses its ability to respond to insulin and can no longer absorb energy efficiently. This is called insulin resistance, and when it happens inside your blood vessels, you're not just feeling tired, you're taking slow, steady steps into dangerous territory. It's ironic that what we've long been told is good for the heart is actually one of the main drivers of insulin resistance. So how can the endothelium recover? How can it start responding to insulin again and repair itself? Is there a way, without medication, simply by eating the right foods, to help blood vessels open up from the inside out? Keep going, because in the next part, I'll share with you the silent yet powerful nutrients that can lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and restore your endothelium as if it were brand new. 2. The invisible warriors inside your body. When the endothelium is damaged by insulin resistance, the good news is that your body can still heal if you give it the right building blocks. But these aren't the things you see advertised on TV or stamped with a heart-healthy label at the grocery store. The substances that truly make a difference are often overlooked, even though their role is so vital they could quietly save your life. We call them the invisible warriors. The first warrior is nitric oxide, a molecule so tiny you can't see it, yet it can dilate your blood vessels, lower blood pressure, fight inflammation, and prevent clots. When nitric oxide is produced in adequate amounts, your endothelium becomes more flexible, supple, and responsive to blood flow. Where do you get it? Not from pills, but from simple sources like arugula, pumpkin seeds, and sunlight. That's because sunlight is one of the most powerful triggers for vitamin D3 production, and vitamin D3 is essential for nitric oxide synthesis. A lack of vitamin D doesn't just weaken your bones, it stiffens your arteries like plastic pipes, making it harder for blood to flow and raising your blood pressure. Have you ever wondered why your blood pressure stays high even after months of medication? The problem could be low vitamin D, something so simple yet so underestimated. Next is magnesium, a gentle mineral that relaxes blood vessels, reduces muscle spasms, and lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. When cortisol rises, blood pressure spikes, vessels constrict, and you feel the strain both physically and mentally. But magnesium isn't just a natural relaxant. It also prevents calcium from depositing in your artery walls, which is what makes them harden over time. So, are you getting enough magnesium? Don't forget about vitamin K2, the guide that directs calcium to the right place. Without K2, calcium doesn't go into your bones, it strays into your blood vessels instead. The result? Your arteries become cemented from the inside without you even knowing it. But you won't often see K2 listed on the labels of popular nutritional products. In fact, the best source of K2 is fresh cheese, something many people avoid because they think it's too high in fat. And there's another name you might not expect: testosterone. It's not just a male hormone, it also supports the production of nitric oxide, improving blood flow for both men and women. Yet today, low testosterone has become a growing problem, not because of age, but because of chemicals found in plastics, canned goods, and processed foods. Could it be that you're unknowingly harming your vascular health just by drinking from a plastic bottle every day? Now, you can see, your body doesn't need more, it needs the right things. But why aren't these simple solutions included in most mainstream dietary guidelines? And, more importantly, if vegetables, cheese, and sunlight can help restore your arteries, then why are people still told to avoid red meat? The answer lies in the next part, where I'll share with you the shocking truth that flips some of the most misguided recommendations in modern medical history. 3. The lies behind nutrition guidelines. Have you ever wondered why you've been eating exactly by the book for years, yet your health hasn't improved? Why your heart is still weak, your blood pressure still high, your cholesterol still climbing, even though you avoid fat, eat whole grains, and use vegetable oil every day? The answer, one that makes many people furious, is this: those recommendations were never designed for you. They were designed for marketing campaigns. Let's start with a familiar example: a box of Cheerios. The label proudly bears the seal of the American Heart Association, a symbol that reassures millions of people as they pour milk over it each morning. But do you know the requirement for earning that seal? It's simply that 51% of the ingredients must be whole grains. The rest can be sugar, refined starch, or additives, and it will still be stamped heart healthy. So what do you think happens inside your blood vessels after a breakfast made almost entirely of carbs like that? Grains, even whole grains, still spike blood sugar and insulin. As we discussed earlier, this weakens the endothelium and leads to insulin resistance, one of the main drivers of arterial blockages. So why is it considered a healthy choice? It doesn't stop there. Seed oils, found in almost every bottle labeled healthy cooking oil, are praised as heart-friendly unsaturated fats. But did you know they oxidize easily when heated, producing compounds that trigger inflammation and damage the endothelium faster than saturated fats ever could? The irony is that you've been taught to avoid butter and beef, yet encouraged to use canola oil, soybean oil, products extracted with industrial chemicals. Have you ever asked yourself, why? And now, the most controversial topic: red meat. You've been told it's the villain that raises cholesterol and causes heart disease. Yet here's a puzzling contradiction. 1 tablespoon of coconut oil contains more cholesterol than 200 grams of beef. So why is coconut oil accepted, but beef demonized? Could it be that our entire perception of meat, fat, and heart health was steered decades ago in a direction that had little to do with the truth? The reality is that heart disease rates have not declined under these guidelines. In fact, they've steadily risen decade after decade despite millions of Americans switching to clean eating by industrial standards. So, do you still trust the label on the box? Or is it time to ask the hard question: who really benefits when you avoid red meat, cheese, and natural fats and replace them with healthy packaged products? If all of this leaves you feeling confused, that's actually a good sign. Because in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what one meal, featuring red meat, cheese, and fresh greens, can do for your arteries. And maybe, for the first time in years, you'll eat a meal without worrying your heart will protest.
4. Meal number 1. The dish that helps open your arteries. Here it is, the part you've been waiting for since the start of this video. The one meal I believe can clean your arteries from the inside, without medication, without devices, without complicated recipes. And the most remarkable thing about it is that it goes completely against everything you've ever been told. Remember all those warnings about red meat, about saturated fat? Today, I'm going to show you how to eat a hamburger. Yes, you heard that right, a hamburger. But not the kind you grab at a fast food chain. This is the natural medicine version of a hamburger, designed to reduce insulin resistance, boost nitric oxide, deliver vitamin D, K2, magnesium, and, most importantly, restore your endothelium to full health. The first component, grass-fed beef. Why grass-fed? Because compared to industrially raised beef, grass-fed beef has higher natural omega-3s, fewer harmful fats, and is especially rich in zinc, a mineral essential for maintaining testosterone, which, as you now know, helps increase nitric oxide. But beyond hormones, zinc accelerates tissue repair, regulates immunity, and reduces inflammation inside your blood vessel walls. An ideal serving? About 170 to 225 grams, equivalent to a hearty steak or a thick burger patty. Next is the part that surprises most people: raw cheese. Not the mass-produced, pasteurized kind, but authentic, unprocessed cheese that retains all its vitamin K2. Remember, K2 is what directs calcium out of your arteries and back into your bones, where it belongs. Avoiding cheese because you're afraid of fat? The truth is, the natural fats in cheese actually help your body absorb vitamins D and K more effectively. And the greens? Not just any vegetable will do. Here, I choose arugula, also known as rocket lettuce. Why? Because it's one of the richest natural sources of nitrates, which boost nitric oxide levels in the blood. And that's not all. Arugula also contains vitamin C, which protects the endothelium from oxidative damage, and vitamin E, which improves arterial elasticity. Think salad is just a side dish? For me, it's an essential main component. Finally, you can sprinkle a handful of pumpkin seeds over your plate, not just for flavor, but to add magnesium, zinc, and selenium. Remember how I said magnesium relaxes blood vessels, lowers cortisol, and prevents calcium buildup? This is the simplest way to get enough magnesium each day. No pills required.
And finally, the part of this meal that isn't on the plate: sunlight. It sounds simple, but vitamin D3 from sunlight is the switch that activates your entire nitric oxide production system. Without it, no matter how perfectly you eat, that system stays asleep. So, if possible, spend 15 to 20 minutes in the sun each morning, allowing your skin to naturally produce the most powerful light hormone for heart health. Some people ask me, what if it's rainy or cold? When you can't get sunlight, take a D3 supplement with a maintenance dose of at least 10,000 IUs per day, especially in winter. It's not just good for your arteries, it also improves deep sleep, boosts mood, and strengthens your overall immune system. You might be thinking, can just one meal like this really make a difference? But this isn't about a one-time meal. It's about a new eating lifestyle where every ingredient has a purpose and every nutrient plays a specific role in repairing your arteries. I've seen wheelchair users and people taking 3 different blood pressure medications a day after just a few months on this eating style gradually come off their medications, walk again, and regain the feeling of control over their bodies. So what about you? Are you ready to see a hamburger in a completely different light, not as a symbol of disease, but as a key to opening the pathways for blood to flow smoothly through your body? One burger and a whole new lifestyle. Remember at the start of this video when I told you that you may have been misled for years? Now, after everything you've just learned, how do you feel? You might feel angry, relieved, skeptical, or even a little regretful. If only I had known this sooner. But here's the good news. It's never too late. Whether you're 60, 70, or older, whether you walk every day or use a wheelchair, your arteries can still recover if you stop damaging them and start nourishing them with what they truly need. This is not a miracle diet. It's a lifestyle built on truly understanding your body. You don't need to chase new health trends every year. You simply need to return to basic biological logic. Your heart doesn't need whole grains. It doesn't need a certification label, and it certainly doesn't need chemically extracted vegetable oils. What it needs is an endothelium that's protected. It needs glucose kept under control. It needs hormones kept in balance. And it needs you, the true owner of this body, to understand the silent messages it's been sending from within. And if just one burger, made with grass-fed beef, raw cheese, fresh arugula, a handful of pumpkin seeds, and 15 minutes in the morning sun can help you walk a few more healthy years, live through tens of thousands more smooth heartbeats, then it's no longer just a meal. It's an act of daily self-healing. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone who's confused about food, afraid of medication, or losing faith in their own health. Because maybe, just like you, they're simply waiting for one right thing to help them start again.